What's up, guys? Luke here with the Iron Grind. And today, obviously, we're talking about the Mr. Olympia, specifically the final top four call out. One thing I will say is a shout out at that sixth place spot. I think they're gonna switch Steve Kuklu out for Cedric, just because I think Cedric looked a lot better. But anyways, let's get into the top four. And that's not a dock on Steve Kuklu. It's just saying I think Cedric looks a lot better than Steve. I'm sure Steve's got something that judges like, but I just don't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there. I just don't see it. Anyways, front relax. Right off the bat, Rolly's out of shape. His silhouette looks amazing, probably the best out of this whole lineup, but he's just not showing that detail. He missed his mark again, and I think unless he can show later this year that he can hit that 2018 Olympia look again, I think 2018 was probably the peak of his career, and it's downhill from here. Um, and I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that he can bring that in again and look amazing. Obviously. Brandon, a little bit disappointing. Honestly, I thought based on a lot of his stuff from the gym, and I know that that's pumped up, full as hell, he would look great. But really, it's not the fullness; it's the dryness. He's not dry. He's kind of watery for Brandon at least. He looked a lot better at the Arnold, and which is strange because his legs are very full. If you look, you can compare his left quad actually looks bigger than Williams. Obviously not the biggest. Hottie has the best, hands down, legs in the entire show this year. But Brandon's legs really, really came up. His calves, too. A lot bigger and fuller. But as a result, his upper body is really not looking as outstanding as it usually does. And overall, it looks like either he carved up too much or he tried to save fullness in the legs too much and didn't dry out enough. And that's the problem because he won the Arnold not because he had good legs, but because he had good shape, symmetry, and detail. He won it because he was drier than William. And it was still really close. Hottie, he looks great. His legs, like I said, the best in the lineup. Abs are some of the best in the lineup. His chest, shoulders, lats are wide as hell. He looks just fantastic. But I would say William is probably taking this because his lats are protruding a lot more and a lot thicker than Hottie's are. His waist, he's brought it in a whole lot. His legs are deep, deep cut. Not as hard and grainy as Hottie's, but definitely better than I've seen them in a long time. And it's awesome because even without Neil Hill, he's been able to do exactly what I said he needs to do in my predictions video in order to place well at this show. And that's size down the legs, bring them in harder and deeper cut, and bring the waist down. That's what was the problem, is he was too hip and leg heavy. He looked like he was just growing outward and downward in most of his poses. And he's fixed that. He looks amazing. It looks like he just doesn't need Neil Hill at this point, which is crazy to think about. And you'll see in some of the other poses that William really is the standout star, at least in my opinion, when they hit the front double bicep. See, obviously, Rolly's arms, insane. It's a freaking gun show over here. And I like that he's hitting this partial vacuum. It creates a really nice overall V-taper, but I wish that he came in drier. Obviously, better detail through the legs. That would be much better. And I wish that his midsection are tighter. It's strange. It's like he's got little knobs on his obliques here. That might just be his rib cage. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like his ribs come out to here. So I'm not sure what that is really. But, his silhouette, one of the best here. But his detail, not quite. And that's where he's losing, I think. Brandon, he should be winning this pose, but he's not. And he might just be being hurt by the black background, but I think, again, the bigger legs really are throwing off his balance. It's not that he looks lower body dominant, it's that his lats and his chest, which looked absolutely insane and overpowering to everybody else at the Arnold, look really undersized here. It's like, to match his limbs, his lats need to be a lot wider than they are, or his waist a little bit narrower. It's strange. I guess he needs to like puff up his chest more or something to hit the pose. I don't know what it is, but it's messing him up. And you're also missing a lot of the tricep sweep that he should have, and his left bicep isn't as big or full or peaky as his right bicep, so you're really throwing off some symmetry. I could even see Rolly taking this pose over Brand because of that. Hadi looks absolutely great. Amazing legs, great tiny waist. You can see his abs, even though he's not flexing them. Wide lats, great serratus, wide, broad chest. Um, though his right bicep is a lot more developed than his no, his left bicep is a lot more developed than his right bicep, and that's a big problem. You can see better separation, fullness, peak to the right bicep than to the left. The left one really just looks flat, not just by comparison, but straight up flat, and that's a problem in this type of pose. And not to mention, he also has fairly high lats. Then William looks like $1,000,000. Great deep detail to the legs, the lower body, cross striations to this front left leg here. Amazing, much tighter waist than he's had. It's one of the smallest, or it's not one of the smallest waists up here because all of these guys have small waists now, but it's a lot smaller than it has been in years past. And he's got the best biceps up here, barring maybe Rolly, but he's got much better detail overall. I would give this one to William because of that balance and that shape and that flow. But I can see you giving it to Hadi instead just because of the sheer wow factor. But like I said earlier, Brandon is a little bit of a disappointment. But yeah, William just $1,000,000 here. And Hadi, he doesn't have the presentation down. He's shaking too much and all that stuff. So, and the judges aren't pausing it; they're watching it in real time. And William is a lot more polished than Hadi is. Now the front lat spread again. Rolly's his silhouette great, but his lines are so washed out and murky that it's losing him the shot, even to a narrow William Bonac. And that's it. It's just his conditioning. He needs to be better than that. Brandon, his abs are good, nice and cut up, even though he's not really flexing them beyond just keeping his midsection tight. His legs, like I said, look fuller, but they're missing that detail. And his lats just don't have the flair that they did at the Arnold. At the Arnold, it looked like his front lat spread was Ronnie Coleman meets Dorian Yates. It was insane, and minus the lower body, of course. But now his chest and his shoulders and even his arms to a degree are really overpowering his lats. You can see even if you can look close and track where his lats actually come out to, right around here, even though that black backdrop is really hiding some of the size to his lats come out to about here, and that still leaves a huge gap that he usually doesn't show. Like, it's even smaller than the gap between Williams' lats and his arms, and that's insane. That's crazy. And he's also losing a lot of separation between the chest and the shoulders that he has had in the past. So, like I said, I hope he dries up between now and the finals because he could win if he dries up. But if he doesn't, and one of these two comes in as good or better, then Brandon's going to lose a title that was his to grab. William, he's narrow. It's the same story as usual. His chest and his lats are overshadowed by his shoulders, arms, and legs. His midsection looks a lot better than it has in years past, so he's looking better. And I would have him probably in third, in front of Rolly, but behind Brandon. And then Hadi, he's taking it. You all knew. Legs the best in the lineup. Shoulder width the best in the lineup. He's got the best separation through the chest and the shoulders out of everybody. His abs are phenomenal, best in the lineup. His lats look the widest of anyone in the lineup, and the gap between his arms and his lats is the smallest of anyone in the lineup, including Rolly. So he's got the best silhouette, better than Rolly, and the best detail and condition out of everybody on this shot. And whereas his legs to some degree overpower some parts of his upper body in some other poses, like you'll see in the most muscular, in this shot, with his flaring wide shoulders, it's almost a peak to his side delts, and that's a genetic thing. I've only seen that in like Chris Bumstead and a couple of other people. It's incredible. Amazing X-frame. Absolutely phenomenal front lat spread. You can see here in front of the white backdrop, Brandon is looking a lot better. And with that in mind, I could have him a little bit closer to Hadi, but it's still Hadi, Brandon, William Rolly in that front lat spread. This pose, though, Brandon absolutely opens up and separates himself out from the rest of the lineup because his chest, while it, Rolly might have something to say about whether or not Brandon has the biggest chest in the lineup, but he's definitely displaying it the best. Not to mention the flow between his chest and shoulders and his arms are the best of the lineup. He's got the best midsection, maybe tying with Hottie on that one. His lower body, while not the best in the lineup, isn't the worst in the lineup, Rolly. Whereas Rolly is losing a lot of detail. Brandon has really brought up his legs, especially his hamstrings and the glute thickness and fullness, and that's really helped him out. He's brought up his calves, though I wish they were still thicker. And I know he can't have like Williams calves, but he could build them up to Rolly or even Hottie's level, I think, just based on the insertions. And his lower body, like I said, really is looking great. It's veiny, it's vascular. The only thing I can see that I would like more on his leg is this this peak right here at the base of the outer head, and this kind of side detail that William and to some degree Hottie are showing. But I don't know if he genetically can do that. We'll see as time goes. It looks like he's starting to get that line. We'll see. That's something I would like him to have. But the other thing he's doing is he's standing taller than anyone. And he's not that much taller than any of these guys. But he's not crouching down as low as they are. So he looks taller, and that's really helping him out. He also looks bigger and wider, just displaying himself the best. At this show, normally this is his third best, or one of his better poses, but not his best. I think at this show, that side chest is his best pose. And Hadi over there, like I said, he doesn't quite have the stage presence down yet. He needs to bring that part up. Brandon, again, turning around, he's really missing that dryness and detail through the glutes and the hamstrings, and that's a problem. I don't like that. And now he's leaning back way too much, and he's showing the wrinkles that he brought in his lower back, which is a problem. You don't want to do that when you bring disappointing condition. You don't want to highlight your disappointing condition. He should stop leaning back because it also throws off the balance between his upper body and his lower body. It makes it look like his torso is really ridiculously short and his legs are really long. Makes him look like a spider or something. Hadi and Rolly are falling at the back of the pack because they're really missing that density through the middle and lower back. Hadi looking a little bit better than Rolly through the lower back, but Rolly looking better through the shoulders and the arms. Hadi, when they zoom in a minute, you'll really see that he's just soft from the waist up, which is really strange for Hadi because he's so conditioned from the front. And even in the back last spread, he looks really great. But obviously, the star of this pose is William. The best peaky biceps, even though his arms and shoulders and even his traps are smaller than Brandon's, he has much better balance through the whole back and through the lower body, whereas Brandon, from the base of his traps down, is completely overshadowed by the base of his traps up section, and that's a problem. You don't want to be doing that, and he's leaning back so far that he's hiding the thickness through his lower lats. Whereas William, the best detailed back, the best balanced back, one of the best lower bodies from behind, probably in this pose, his lower body from behind would be tied with Hadi, even though from the front, Hadi's legs are the best, just because Williams' glutes and hamstrings and even quads are so thick from behind, and his calves are the best in the lineup. So, yeah, William winning the back double, arguably the most important pose, so that's something to say. So you can see Hadi is just so soft. That's a big problem. William definitely the best thickness and detail through the back. Yeah, you see there when Hadi brings it back, it's not quite thick in detail, but when he spreads it out, it's the best in the lineup. Absolutely, best in the lineup. Brandon might have been better if he weren't leaning back so far. William, he looks great, but he doesn't quite have, this might just be the footage quality, but he doesn't quite have that trap to lat separation that he did at the Arnold this year. And Rolly filling up the whole freaking shot, just losing off of conditioning straight up. I'd say Hadi, Brandon, William, Rolly. Rolly only in the back because of condition. And you'll notice that Hadi's winning a lot of shots, and William's winning a lot of shots, and Brandon's not winning that many shots. So we might see Brandon not win the title, or he might do a Dorian Yates type deal where, Kevin would win this pose, Sean would win this pose, but Dorian would be second in every pose, and then win a couple of other shots. All right, so let me bring this back because I was talking. They're all going to hit the shot, and bang. Hottie owns this freaking pose as well as he possibly can with poor triceps. Great, tight, cut up midsection. His chest looks pretty good. I think it looked better at the Vancouver Pro, though, that he won to qualify. He's playing the calf, looking really good. When William used to hit it like this, I think William looked better than Hottie does here. Just saying. Brandon, he looks great, but he doesn't quite have that tight, dry midsection that we saw at the Arnold. Rolly could be winning this, but he's not hitting it effectively, so you can't even see that he has the biggest triceps up there. Overall, I think William is actually taking it because he has the best side leg detail. He has the tightest waist from the side. Even Hottie's isn't quite as tight as William is bringing his in. And the way William's bringing his in is he's flattening the lower abdomen and not quite flattening the upper abdomen. So his chest looks so big and full, and his waist looks so tight and tiny. The only thing I could say is maybe flex in on the obliques like Hottie is, but that might throw off this tight waist he's got going on. And his arm looks the absolute best at this angle. Even though Rolly's got bigger triceps, Williams looks bigger, and his bicep looks amazing too, and so do his shoulders. Uh, Brandon's delt looks bigger, but Williams has more detail. Best calves. Yeah, you get the point. I'd say William, then Hottie, then Brandon, then Rolly. And again, that's a trend that you're seeing. And I might just be completely on crack or something, but we might see a bit of an upset at this show. They're going to go into the ab and thigh, and William is going to be really smart. You'll see he doesn't flex his abs in the hand overhead ab and thigh because he knows his midsection looks terrible. He's doing almost a vacuum here, which is really smart of him. Hottie, his abs and his legs are great, but his flow is crap, absolute crap. It worked at the Vancouver Pro, but it doesn't work here where you've got better guys. From the side there, Brandon looks the best, hitting it like that. But I don't know. It's that one, y'all are going to have to let me know what you think. I think William looks oddly good, but obviously he's not perfect. Let me back this up so we can really properly see them hitting the most muscular. We're going to go into the most muscular. They're all excited because they all look great in it. Rolly thinking we're hitting the ab and thigh. Let's get Rolly all the way into it. So Hottie could be winning this. Best legs, best shoulder width, really great peaky delts, and he's displaying them really well. Except he's scrunching his chest up too much, which should be one of the best in the lineup, but it's not. It's really losing out on thickness. And Williams is really pulling out that weakness of thickness. And same thing through the arms. That's the real chink in his armor on this pose here. Rolly could look the best as well, but he's really losing out on condition and separation. His sheer size might propel him up, but the others look too good. I'd say he's probably up above Brandon, who also could look the best if he were drier. So we're seeing a trend between these two. Both of these guys could be first and second if they came in condition. Instead, these are the guys who came in condition, and they're the ones pulling ahead. I would say William is actually the best in this pose because he has the best overall balance, best arms in this shot. Rollies look great. They're definitely thicker than Williams, but Williams is showing better detail as well as better balance throughout the full body. He's got better legs than anyone here but Hottie, and better chest than Hottie, better arms than Hottie, filling out the pose better than Hottie, and his shoulders, while not as peaky and wide, are definitely rounder. And they're going to hit the crab, and Hottie looks great in that crab. He should hit that and hold it. He doesn't look good in the one hand on hip, and William looks amazing in the crab. So anyways, there you have it, guys. If I were to give a revised prediction, I'd say Brandon might still pull out on top, especially if he can dry it between now and finals. If William can hold this condition or maybe even get drier, he could win or take second. Hadi, I think he's going to come in third for an incredible Olympia debut. Third place right out the bat. We haven't seen that since the 90s. Like, literally. We have not seen that since the 90s when at his first Mr. Olympia, Kevin Lervone took second, and at his first Mr. Olympia, Flex Wheeler took second. And we haven't seen that third place. Top three, we saw Phil Heath take third, which might be telling. Hadi might wind up being Mr. Olympia one day. Who knows? Looks great in this lineup, at least. So Hadi third, Rolly in fourth, unless Dexter can come in fuller. I think he might be able to take out Rolly, especially if Rolly doesn't dry up between now and finals. If Rolly dries up between now and finals, I think he'll secure that fourth place spot. But as it stands, Dexter's detail was really good, and he's definitely improved from last year. I think he may have looked a little bit better at the Tampa, or that might just have been by comparison to the rest of the lineup. And I think hopefully Cedric will take out Steve for that sixth place spot. If not, that's going to be Steve, and Cedric's going to have to settle for seventh, or even after that. Who knows? That'll be really strange to me, though. There you have it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave down in the comments what you think is going to happen at this year's show. It's pretty exciting. We've lost the top two main contenders, and we've lost Ramy. So now it's made actually more exciting without them, because there's so much more variable to what could happen here. Let me know who y'all think is going to win between maybe these top four. If you still think Rolly's got what it takes to pull out ahead, I don't think that's going to happen, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one.